All right, we are live. Welcome to the Spinnin Backfist show for Wednesday, February 5th, UFC 312 edition. We've got a pay-per-view this weekend. Feels a little bit weird because
It's not a
this
pay-per-view.
past weekend felt like a pay-per-view. This one feels a little bit less like a pay-per-view. It's weird.
Feels nothing like a pay-per-view.
Yeah, there's not a lot of buzz.
Except for Sean Strickland just saying crazy shit.
Yeah,
Does not feel like a pay-per-view.
which he said some crazy shit on the Spinnin Backfist show. Go check that out now.
It was a lot of
did
fun
interview
talking
Sean
with him.
Strickland. Yep.
Sorry,
quick one.
Sorry about at first he forgot to connect to his Wi-Fi on his Tesla.
It's a little choppy, a little bit blurry, but it clears up eventually and made for some funny moments. We talked to Dave Portnoy, Miss Peaches, having kids, what makes a true
America,
man. Everything you would expect from Sean Strickland.
And then
really.
he said, and he was talking, he did have kind of a cold moment. It's like, we just have some things to settle.
Yeah, between him and DDP. That was cool.
I completely forgot about the headbutt he was talking about.
Yeah.
It really did cut open his eye. He had it right here, which is a really tough spot to have it. You can't really see. But obviously, we'll talk about that fight in a little bit, which is a great fight. But outside of that, I mean, I guess Wiley's saying
Demain and Co-Main are good, but it's just
Co-Main is good.
The drop off, like you telling me the third fight of the night is Tafa versus a guy. Was it Taliesin Teixeira?
Yeah, a guy who wasn't even that good.
His debut.
Yeah.
And even on Contender Series, the guy he knocked out was like a light heavyweight, like moving up.
Yeah.
Like just took the fight, just like
it's a little uninspired.
Come in. There's a weird. Just doesn't really make sense to me.
No. It really feels like a fight night card.
Yeah, I mean, just having that fight as the third, like the three fights that round out a pay-per-view main card are just not. Like Jake Matthews, Prado, like it's a good fight. Like I expect it to be an exciting, fun fight, but just the name value, that should not be on a pay-per-view.
It's almost like the main event last weekend, Izzy and Imavov, should have been maybe like the third fight on this card. And that would have made it feel more like a pay-per-view.
For
you know what I mean?
For sure.
If you had Izzy on this as well, would have been like, holy shit. We haven't done a show since that fight. Pretty fucking crazy. Gotta say, I really underestimated Imavov.
It was wild to see Izzy just get like taken out like that. Like he had a good first round. It's not to take away from him, but just see him just get like just smashed in the overhand right, follow up like done. I mean, the stoppage is questionable. I do feel like Izzy's gotten some tough breaks with stoppages because I even still to this day, the first Poetan one was definitely like could have let him take another shot or two.
He was dead though.
I don't know how it's going to open up the can of worms. He was still like, listen, does he not stop it and then he ends up eating a flush like flatline right hand or left hand? Like maybe, but the champ I'd like to see a little more leeway and like to not even basically get knocked down and just get like standing TKO'd. That was tough. And then this one, again, like he might just eat a couple more shots, but he was kind of like, I don't know. It was tough I would like to see it play out a little bit longer.
I was really shocked. I think he really should have taken some time to recompose himself after the eye poke.
Definitely.
Ironic that it's like everything that Izzy does is kind of mirrored by, in a weird way, Poetan, but Poetan wins. Obviously, Izzy had one of the most iconic knockouts in the history of the UFC against Poetan, but the Jamal Hill stop and then the KO, this one too. And you can kind of see he switched his feet, his stance, and the overhand right came right at the eye that got poked. Who knows if that really had anything to do with it, but I was okay with the stoppage because they let him fall, and then he took a really mean hit.
Oh yeah,
and Imavov, I mean, what a performance for a guy that really got mollywopped and walked by Sean Strickland not too long ago to now being right there. I would love to see an Imavov Hamzat fight, but I think Hamzat's next no matter what.
I think it's got to be Imavov Cow.
Yeah, I suggested that. I suggest that on Spinnin. The only thing I'm thinking about is if Sean wins, does Drickus get a rematch?
Probably, yeah, definitely.
So then,
especially if it's a good fight,
then what happens with Hamzat?
I think they make Hamzat wait, but I think that's why the Cow and Imavov fight like has to happen. I think because if they both just say like I got my right to a title shot, I'm gonna wait. You're gonna wait forever.
Yeah.
What do you think of Izzy right now?
I was going back and forth on this because immediately White Sox Dave texted me and he said Izzy is washed. And I said, in my mind, I don't think he is yet. And I might be in denial about that. But he has, as we talked about in the group chat, he has looked good in all of these fights that he's lost until he catches a shot. Is his chin gone? I don't really know. It's hard to tell because he did catch a shot pretty early in this fight that seemed to rock him, but I don't think he's there yet. I think maybe if he catches another loss in his next fight just like this, maybe it's time to have that discussion. I think there's still a ton of people that he will mollywop in the octagon.
For sure.
It just really comes down to if he wants it, I think.
Yeah. That's the other thing.
Fine. Like, I mean, the way he looked was just, I thought he was on his way to chopping Imavov down in a late finish.
Yeah.
But you are right. It's tough. He's in a really weird spot. I mean, Sean Strickland, I think, really broke him. Not specifically Sean Strickland. It was almost like he kind of conquered Poton. And then there was this guy who was all his life, all he wanted was the belt. Actually, not really. It's interestingly enough about Sean. He didn't really care about the belt. He got it, and then he lost it. And when the interview that will come out tomorrow, where I talk with Chael Sonnen, he said he's never seen a guy who wants his belt back more than Sean Strickland. And all that being said, back to Izzy. I think he's still there. He looked sharp.
Yeah.
The chins, but also that was a mean right hand. And
It was.
Also, his chin may be gone, quote unquote, but he didn't go out cold.
No.
That's when I think it's a little bit more
pissed after the stoppage. I think the stoppage was fine. I'm with you. And I think even Eugene told him afterwards, like, hey, don't argue it. Like, it was fine. But like you said, he's not going out cold. He's still arguing the stoppages. I feel like the way he was arguing the stoppage said to me that he still is like motivated, still wants it so bad. He seems so bummed when the fight was over.
Yeah, I think it's tough because like the word washed is like a unique word because it's like, is he like I agree with you, Robbie. Like, I think he still could crush like most of the middleweight division.
Yeah.
But he's just in a spot where like, is he gonna let himself get to the point where he's fighting like outside the top 10, like out of the rankings? Like, I don't think so. I mean,
yeah.
And I don't think he's there yet, but it's like, what do you do with him now? Like, I don't really know where you go with him from here because he also like a lot of these other guys, like he's fought like, what is he going to fight? Like the winner of Brendan Allen and Fluffy? Like maybe something like that.
That would be a nightmare for him
that's
too.
a bad match. Like especially Fluffy. Fluffy would be a bad matchup for him.
Do you think there's a route for him to ever get the title again?
No, I don't think so. I just don't think he'll be motivated enough. Like the amount, like obviously he's Adesanya, so like we say these things, like for example, like someone who he hasn't lost as many. It's crazy to think Adesanya's lost 4 out of 5.
I know.
It's crazy when you say that out loud. Like he's 1-4 in his last 5. But I think it's so amazing how like you can be so down and so up, especially when you have a name like he does. Like think about where Poirier was like a year ago. He gets flatlined by Gaethje, and like not even a year later, he's fighting for the belt. Yeah. If someone told you the day after that BMF fight he lost to Gaethje, he was fighting for the belt next May, you'd be like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
But you get in a pay-per-view and you land like a highlight reel knockout and you have a name, like you're back like that.
And there's a
few Adesanya, like like all of a sudden, like he goes and like say he fights someone like that. He say he went out there and like flatlined Brendan Allen or Fluffy, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, like like Hamzat's out for a while, visa issues. Yeah. This guy can't like even with the Imavov and Cal fight, one of them gets hurt. All of a sudden, like let's call Izzy and you're back just like that. So who knows?
And
I don't see it though.
And let's say Sean wins, Drickus can't fight. You could say it's the Izzy Sean rematch, and then he could get the belt back just like that.
I just feel like the motivational factor is not going to be there. And I've said this a bunch with other fighters. I do think once you're a guy like that on a dominant run and you lose, it just makes it like almost easier and easier to like stomach the loss. And also the game just evolves. The game passes you by.
Yeah.
Like I think he's incredible, but I think you have guys like Imavov and Barallo and all these guys coming up, like they are starving for this belt.
Yeah.
Like they're not living, like they're still like, they're making good money, but they're not like rolling. And like Izzy's rich as fuck.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. And I think it's tough to keep getting out of bed with that same like fire in your gut.
And he can kind of go and cash in these kind of weird boxing matches.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could even see, like, could you see an Izzy versus Jake Paul?
Yeah. Weirdly, I could.
I think I can.
I never really considered that.
And it would be huge.
I don't know. I would never say never, but I guess when I think of Adesanya, I almost don't know if he would like
want to.
But at the same time, he's the type again that like if he lost to him, he wouldn't even really care.
No.
So that makes
I
me
don't
think
think
maybe
so
he
either.
would. That makes
Yeah.
me think maybe he would do it.
And he's so like in on the internet and memes and stupid jokes like that. Like I think he would almost have more fun promoting that fight than he would promoting a UFC fight at this point.
I just when I see him though, there's something about him that strikes me as kind of this like he was kickboxer for so long. He's like the martial artist lifestyle. Like I wonder if he would like do kind of like a gag fight like that. But he might. Who knows?
But I mean, so much money, and he's a guy. I mean, we saw it. He got knocked out. He posted a video on YouTube 6 hours later of him reacting to it. Like he's a guy who's so into content, and he knows he's a superstar, and he is. And the UFC, and kind of also the Jake Paul fight, he would have to obviously prepare for, but he probably wouldn't even have to cut that much weight. He's getting to a point now where
he really put on weight.
Put on weight, and it could be easy for him. Like obviously, the Jake Paul fight would be competitive, but I meant more from the perspective of preparing to fight. Even Fluffy versus Jake Paul would be night and day for him. It would just be because Fluffy, even against Imavov, Izzy showed some good takedown defense early on, and he was. I thought he was looking good. I was about to tweet out from Spinning Backfist, like, oh, Izzy's really killing him with those leg kicks. And he literally, it's wrong when he got.
Did we see the judge? Did all three have Adesanya winning the first round?
I don't know. I could check.
Because like I agree with you, Jack. Like I bet Adesanya, and like I felt really good after the first round.
I felt
like I was like, oh, like I thought he won the round. I was like, he's fighting the fight he wants to fight. He got caught with like the one uppercut, but he kind of like got away from it well. Like you said, he was landing kicks, defended takedowns. Like he was doing all the things that I wanted to see.
All of them gave it to Izzy.
Yep.
So that's where I'm like, he did all the things I wanted to see in the first round.
And
that's why I won't say he's washed. Because like getting clipped by Imavov, I'm not going to sit there and be like, he's washed.
Yeah.
And that was such a clean right hand. Imavov really timed it well. And I really think I wonder if you'll say it, but Izzy almost trying to be like the cool, like, oh, I'm fine, don't worry about it. Like maybe he thought that the pressure was getting to Imavov and he was in a good spot, but telling him to stop, like, get yourself, like, it's almost a lesson to the fighters, like, get yourself.
Yeah, take the time.
Take the time, like, even if it's 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Also, it was the second round. It wasn't like Imavov was on his back foot.
No, it was right at the start of the second
I was
round,
so
too.
shocked. It was one of those bets that when he got knocked out, I was so shocked. I wasn't even like, oh, man, I can't believe I lost the bet. I was like, how did that happen?
I actually like reacted vocally on an Amtrak train. I was watching it on the train to Boston and it got clipped. I went, oh, and then like, it's like, oh, I can't really, not supposed to do that. Quiet car.
Crazy.
Before we get into the rest of the show, let's tell everyone about DraftKings. Of course, one of our favorite sponsors.
That does.
DraftKings. You
see
it.
See us right now.
Yeah, it's blocking our faces, but you see this deal right here. Bet $5, get $200 back on what? Not the itty little bitty teeny tiny bowl. The Super Bowl LIX. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 59. Scoring touchdowns is the key to hoisting the Vince Lombardi Trophy, and you have a shot to score big by betting on them at the DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. If you're ready to place your first bet, try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick.
And there's so many.
Yep. Not just Saquon.
Right now, like within the app, I really like, and this is one that I'm just going to give don't tell Marty this.
Oh, wow. You can say it?
Breakfast. Over rushing attempts, over 7.5 for both teams combined. There's a prop on DK. It's -150.
Wow.
I think there's going to be over 7.5.
Rushing attempts for what? Oh, for players?
Players. So over 7.5.
So 8 players are going to have
players.
A
and it's if you go to rushing props on the game in the DK app, you just have to scroll down a little bit. It's right there. It's -150.
My lips are sealed. That's for the spin.
Hey, that's only. Do not tell anybody that.
Only the Spinnin Backfist.
I didn't tell anybody in the
He
office.
did not. I am sworn to secrecy.
But that's
for the listeners. That's for the Backfist listeners. And if you bet just $5, you'll get $200 back in bonus bets with the code Backfist. So new DraftKings customers bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly using the code Backfist for new customers. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. That's a great deal, a great bet. Truly something that Jack was sworn to secrecy on and gave it out for the listeners. That's love right there.
I really like that. I think we're going to see way over 7.5. So Jalen, Saquon, Jalen's
Gainwell,
and then Mahomes,
Hunt,
Pacheco,
Worthy always gets carried.
and then P. Ryan, and then like sometimes they'll
end around to Smith, like anything, literally just one more. I think there's 7 like basically guaranteed,
and then you just need one more, and it's minus 150. And then we see a lot, like, I mean, Carson Steele's even active on that team too. You never know.
Just a screen. I mean, a screen that's behind the line of scrimmage, end around, anything. That's all it takes.
What's his name? Obviously we saw, like, I'm not expecting a blow up, but we saw what's his name? Chipley last week. I mean, it's like, I think especially with Mahomes being he always runs in these games, so it'll be key. And even if I saw somebody take over half rushing attempts for Carson Wentz because he kneels it at the end of the game.
They would just never. Mahomes is getting that knee.
That would count as a rushing.
Yeah, yep, but Mahomes is going to kneel out his own Super Bowl unless he's literally on a stretcher.
Yeah,
even if it's like fifth, like they're up 4 scores.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I think you're probably right.
I think so.
Yeah.
We're gonna get it. It's got to get over 7.5. I really like that. And I think that's. I mean, it may be on other apps, but it's really easy to find on DK.
Shout out DK. All right.
Can I just say something quick about Adesanya? Do you think Poetan's arc has like mentally fucked him up? Possibly. Like, do you think it bothers him truly that, like, especially the comment of like he's gonna be some guy at a bar one day being like, I beat that guy, and then not only has Poetan literally taken over your sport, has probably done it better than you ever did, multiple weight classes, like even dominating like the bigger weight class.
Probably
like, even becoming maybe like arguably a bigger star. I think their stardom could be argued. Yeah, because Izzy at his peak was a fucking superstar.
People hate Izzy. There's some I don't know a guy who hates Poetan.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But I think Izzy was a little more polarizing because of how his personality.
Yeah.
Where Poetan, I think, fits like UFC caveman fan. Like he's just warrior. Like I break. Yeah. Like Shama. Like even the way he shaves his head before the fight. He even says he's like, I look like nice guy with long hair, like no hair for fights, like just shaved head, like just savage.
It could
I think it's a really good point. I think it's a really good point.
Because then he all of a sudden he became the guy he got the DUI. He became the guy in the bar that's like, I beat him once.
Yeah,
like, tough. I just wonder
I don't think about it like that.
But I wonder if that's me just like being a fan and like looking into it so like big picture like that. Where like I mean he was rooting for Izzy this weekend. There's like the video, and I don't think that was for like show.
No, I think he wanted him to win.
Yeah, I think he actually wanted to win. I actually think everyone kind of wants people they fought to win because it just makes you look better.
And I think Poetan even sees if Izzy wins that, there's also a chance they fight again.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like
that'd be money.
I could see Izzy almost being like, fuck it, like I just want to fight Poetan.
Yeah.
And Poetan knows.
Like, you think they could do that off 4 out of 5 losses?
You know what?
If anyone could do it, it's dude. Yeah. If he beats Anklaev, if he
and they tell Izzy take a year.
If he hurdles the grappler finally, like no one can say he didn't beat the grappler. If he beats Anklaev. There's not like a ton of other people to fight. Like that still would be a huge fight.
Yeah.
Oh, it would be.
And it'd be like, hey, this guy, he only lost once in the UFC to this guy who not only beat him, flatlined him.
Yep. The last time they met. Yeah.
Like, and this is like Izzy was in a spot where after that fight, I was like, he'll never fight him again. This is like the best you could end this.
Yeah.
This trillet, whatever you want to call it, whatever. But now he's put himself in a place where like he could want the fight again.
Yeah.
I think there's also an aspect of Izzy that he conquered Poetan, and then he was like, I did it all.
Well, that's what I think, because if you go, like, that's how, if he goes up and gets, like, knocked out, then it's like...
It's over.
Like, you had already, like, you had the most decisive win of your, like, rivalry.
Yeah.
And then now you're fighting, like, on his terms.
Money talks.
Not smart.
That's the only thing, money talks. And, like, do you want that pay-per-view main event? Or do you want to be, like, a fight night headliner? Versus like like Brendan Allen, like is that what you want, or do you want to
Vettori,
or do you want to be like the third fight on a pay per view? Like I don't know if Izzy wants that. He's only main evented for like 5 years straight.
Yeah,
or close to that.
It was even weird to see him not on a pay per view.
That's what I'm saying. Weird. Insane.
Even though it was a Saudi card.
It is strange. It was strange.
Anything else happened this week?
Royval's
out. Unfortunate. Tough. That was going to be a great fight.
Yeah. That was going to be like an absolute nuke. Play it plus 180.
Trying to think, was there any other fights? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think there was
think
a
that's
lot
it.
that came out. Obviously, we saw
A lot of Miami talk now, of like Miami card, like that's
Yep.
starting to get kind of.
MVP really was impressive, and I
Great.
think I don't want to call it a fraud check, but Shara, and now he's going on
A lot of
excuse
excuses,
tour.
yeah.
And it's like,
tough.
A
oh,
lot of excuses. He felt
it's
like
like
he
I don't want
throw
to
up
tell
in a
anybody, but I'm
cage.
dealing with a lot of health issues.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're dealing with cancer, tell us so we don't make fun of you. But like,
Yeah.
But did you see what McKinney said?
No.
About the locker rooms, like
Said in
the,
locker
the,
room,
the, the,
the
paint,
paint,
right?
I did see
made
that.
a lot of
Fresh paint.
made a lot of fighters really, really sick,
Yeah.
which actually does add up and not add up, but like does make sense. And then he said a lot of guys had to go to the hospital after.
That's crazy.
Freshly painting a room is crazy, right? Before
Crazy.
And you know that paint that they're using over there is probably insane.
Like, yeah, not
I didn't
the
even
most
think about that.
regulated.
No,
movie. Yeah.
that paint is not regulated, bro.
Yeah. All right. This card this weekend is in Australia. Starts at 6:15. Early prelims. Hyun Sun Park versus, and I'm not even going to attempt this. name.
Nathan
He has fought in the UFC.
It is the craziest name in the UFC. I think it's the first time John Anik will
he's
get
from
to say his
Mongolia.
name, because John Anik had a tweet this weekend when Imavov was talking about people mispronouncing his last name.
Who mispronounces it?
I don't know.
When he said it, I was like, that's how I say it.
Yeah. I thought the same thing. I was almost like,
Maybe people in Saudi were mispronouncing it.
maybe because he said, I'm not Imamov. I
Yeah.
think people are like forgetting that there's two V's.
You know what
I'm
I
not
think it
sure.
was? Imanov, like people, so like in Saudi, like kind of what a preacher is in Islam is an imam,
Yeah.
So it's like maybe they were combining that.
Imanov, they were saying, instead of
But
Imamov.
Tumen Dembrell fought Carlos Hernandez to a split, and he was kind of like came on late in the fight and looked pretty good.
He's plus 190
He
here.
definitely had a little bit of a like first fight jitters, and I kind of like him here. Hyung-Sung Park has not impressed me. I know that he knocked out Shannon Ross, but like let's be real, it took him 2 rounds to knock out Shannon Ross. I really think Niem Tumendembrel is a nice little bet to start off the card. Underdog, maybe half unit. I've invested yet. I haven't bet anything yet on this card. I don't have a lot of spots I like. I have a lot of spots I'm kind of like, I think I'll bet it. But yeah, I like him here. I think and also Carlos Hernandez is a good fighter.
He is.
He is pretty good.
No, I agree. I mean, a Shannon Ross win is not impressive at all. Yeah, I agree with you. That was on that super. What was that was the China card, right? He fought on.
Yes,
that was a good fight. He did come on late. Yeah, I think plus 190 definitely worth a stab. Like you'll definitely make worse bets than that.
And Hyung-Sung Park essentially is somebody that needs to get a guy's back to he goes for submissions, takedowns, and I think Tienderbrell is a guy who can really just maybe stuff a few, throw some punches, and really land. And yeah, I'm in on him.
Plus 190 to start the card. I like that. Then you've got Anshul Jubli, or is it Jubli? Is that
Jubilee?
Jubilee, plus 425 against Quillian Salkield, minus 575. Excuse
Jubilee
me.
got broken by our guy Mike Breeden.
What is this matchmaking? This is weird.
That was me pouring some out for Mike Breeden.
The fact
legends remember.
The
streets will never forget.
The fact they cut him after barking,
bark
yelling
was,
USA in a guy's face in Saudi, or maybe it was Abu Dhabi, is so disgusting.
It was
Abu
the
Dhabi, right?
I believe it was the card when it was the Volk getting head kick KO.
Yeah,
card.
Unfortunately,
I was in
memories.
California.
Jubilee. Yeah, I mean, I think under 2.5 minus 145 is pretty good.
Just
I think
seems like a weird. What is this fight?
I guess they're trying to push Quillen in a way. What I've heard from this guy is it's not even like this guy's that good. Quillen.
Yeah.
He's 7-1. He's come from he won the Contender Series, but it was a unanimous against a guy who's also not that good. He fought in Eternal MMA, which I think is Australia.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see how he looks. He needs to get a finish here, and I think he gets it. the way Jubilee quit was crazy. And I think the Quinlan is getting set up for a finish here, and Jubilee gets cut.
Also, remember correctly, Mike Breeden, a big Chiefs fan.
Yep.
So
Oh,
congrats
that's
to
right.
Mike.
You shouted
He
at
got on the
Kansas
mic.
City
He's
right
like,
away.
the Chiefs, like,
Yeah.
Chiefs playing this weekend.
Yeah.
Like,
Damn.
They
Well,
were-
at least
they were
he
playing
got
like the-
something
they were
this
playing-
weekend.
yeah, shut up, Mike Breeden.
Yeah. Then we've got Jonathan McAuliffe versus Kevin Jousset. Kevin Jousset minus 258. Jonathan McAuliffe plus 210.
He's just fresh off Contender Series, I believe, too, McAuliffe.
Also, I need to go grab a computer charger real quick before this dies. I'll be right back.
This one, I'm like, Jousset's like, he's okay.
He doesn't
Like, I don't want to, I wouldn't say he's like not UFC caliber. I think he's like UFC like roster caliber. I don't think he's like much above that.
his defense, his striking defense. What like
It's bad. He gets hit a lot. He's
he
very
was even
hittable.
hitting Brian Battle pretty well, but Brian Battle was just.
Ryan Battle
back.
just was cleaned him up. Yeah, on the feet. Just
I'm not the
destroyed him.
biggest fan of Jousset, and minus 250 is a lot for a guy that doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. We said that about Myra Bueno Silva last week, and I ended up falling into her trap. Half unit loss, obviously. She was just, yeah, she was not ready to fight. It was quite frankly embarrassing what she put out there. Jousset's minus money here. I would not feel confident laying that much. I was going to look at the props, maybe. They're not out yet. Jonathan's a guy that I have to rewatch. Again, this is one of those fights that I'm a little bit looking at with a that I just don't know what to do with.
Yeah, it'd be like a stay away because some of these Contender Series guys, it's like you wanna like this situation when you'd like want to bet on them, but like you just have no idea what they really are gonna look like. Like you said, he wasn't super dominant in his Contender Series fight. Those are the kind of things you like want to see from a Contender Series guy. Just especially facing a Jousset who like whatever we think about him, like he has won fights in the UFC, like he's had a few fights in the UFC. I agree with you, probably a dog or pass, but even like the dog, I don't feel confident in him.
Yeah, me either.
I'm a little out of breath. I just ran
Wow,
that
you ran.
charger. I ran. And as I ran, Meek Phil was like, "Is it a good UFC weekend?" I was like, "I'm doing a show, but like, no, not really."
But I'm meek.
Shout out Meek. Meek's the best.
Just guy that just loves ball.
Loves ball. Absolutely loves it. Then we've got Rong Zhu versus Cody Steele. Rong Zhu plus 180. Cody Steele minus 210. Less props on a couple of these fights. Is that late notice replacements or what?
No, I think this has been scheduled.
Because the Rong Zhu fight, the next fight, and the first fight all have like there's no over under yet.
So the next one, like the Taporia, that one was obviously like thickness is filled in late.
Yeah.
So that one will probably take a few more days. I actually think Cody Steele was maybe supposed to fight someone else at some point.
It doesn't say on Tapology. On Tapology, it says
Yeah.
the events that kind of fizzled and canceled was Jimmy Crute, Marcin Pacquiao, Ray Cysura against Stuart Nicole. Yeah, this is a guy, Cody Steele, obviously 7-0. He's coming off a
Contender Series.
Contender Series.
He was the one who his guy literally like 20 minutes before the fight was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And Dana
Yeah.
Dana like loved him for like he's like, see, this guy's like scaring people away.
Yeah.
But then he did fight in the Contender Series and did well and won. I believe he got an early finish, like first,
He
second
did.
round, I think, right?
Yeah, there was a guy.
He's a big time wrestler, this kid.
Yeah, he went to, I forget what college he went to.
I know he's
but-
like a big time American wrestler.
yeah, Cody Steele. We're gonna see.
I like him. Parlay piece. If you're like, I'm not like putting. The
Oh,
kitchen.
he beat Jason Blair. Wasn't that Patty's guy? Am I wrong
Yes.
about that? It is, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think Cody Steele's pretty good. Like I think he's got a lot of potential. I wouldn't throw like the kitchen sink at him like first fight, but I don't think Rong Zhu is like great. I'm fine with Steele. Like if you're looking for like action in each fight,
Wrong Zoo's an unreal name. I
Yeah,
just gotta
great.
say,
You
just
just
a
the
one name
one-namer.
Wrong Zoo. That's badass. I like
but
that.
yeah, I think Steele takes care of him. Parlay piece maybe. Don't go nuts. Contender Series guys always like tread lightly.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with this one. I think the line. Yeah, I may just pass.
It's a mincy.
See how Cody.
Just a good
the
one.
mincy.
Vegas did their
Vegas
thing.
I'm interested.
Vegas did it again.
I want to get some more data on Cody and then Rong Zhu. It should be fascinating.
And then speaking of fascinating, we've got Alexandre Taporia's brother, fighting Colby Thickness. Is that how you
Yeah.
say that?
No, he said
Thickness?
it's thickness. He actually said it
Thickness?
this week that he wants it. It's thickness.
Colby Thickness. All right, Colby Thickness.
name.
Plus 310.
Who trains with Volkanovski.
Oh shit!
And it's going to be in his corner. It's
Like-
going to be Taporia and Volkanovski in an opposing corner.
This
So
is like
it's
Ireland versus Dagestan too.
Yeah.
It's Australia versus Spain too.
Yeah, sure. They haven't like verbally like annihilated each other.
Yeah.
Both these guys are kind of how do I say it? There's a lot of disagreement on Taporia because there's a lot of people saying the only reason he's minus 395 is because of his name. He's not that good. The only reason he's getting this opportunity is because of his brother. And I've seen others such as Magic say, no, this guy's really, really good. You should respect him. Colby Thickness, I watched the fight of his. He's just, I think Taporia will out physical him. Taporia is just more gifted. It kind of reminds me of a SEC against a good G5 team where they just go up. They're just so much more physical.
Well, I was going to say this is one of those when if you had like never watched the sport and you just saw the two of them in the cage, you're going to be like Taporia.
Yeah.
Because he's fucking shredded.
Yeah.
And Thickness is kind of like, no pun intended. He's got more like the what do I call like a Justin Gaethje body? Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Like he's not ripped up. He's got a very like just normal
Not
looking-
chiseled. Yeah.
Yeah, and Taporia looks like a fucking he's shredded out of his mind. 6-pack, fucking like juiced gilled arms, like just beast of a human being.
The next fight, a weird one, Kong Wang versus Bruna Brazil. Kong Wang minus 455, Bruna Brazil plus 350. One of those, like, you're not going to bet on this, right?
I mean, Bruna Brazil.
I mean,
I think she may be worth a stab.
Really?
I was thinking the same. I mean, I think she was a massive dog against Molly, and all respect to Molly. I mean,
What
she
she
won pretty handily.
What she did to Molly is very impressive to me.
Mhm.
I know Molly's definitely on her tail end of her career, but she went in there and really, really fought well. And Kong Wong is coming off a loss against a girl that I don't rate that highly, and she kind of. I don't think she's that good. I think Bruna Brazil can find a way to tough it out, and
I stand corrected.
plus 385. Why not? Definitely worth half a unit play at least.
I think it would not shock me at all if this is a dog fight.
Yeah.
I think Bruna Brazil's striking is good enough to make this competitive. And if I think the fight's going to even be like remotely like competitive in this way, and
plus
you're plus
350,
350, like I almost feel like I have to at least.
So Conway, she quit last fight. She just quit. And I think Bruna Brazil has a chance that she's tough. Bruna's
also fighting nerds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Camp.
true.
A lot of winning from that camp.
Yep.
Just saying.
True.
Bruna Brazil, squad ride.
Then Tom Nolan versus Slava Claus.
This is a
Slava
tough one.
Claus minus 125. Tom Nolan plus 105. Pretty close fight.
So, in my mind, can Tom Nolan get the wrestling going? I think he can. I think he can get a few takedowns.
Yeah. Slava Claus
I wonder if he'll go that route.
You kind of have to, right?
Because like I just could. It just seems like from watching his fights in the past, it doesn't really seem like that's his nature.
Yeah, because of his strikes.
But he also we watched Nicholas Mata smoke him.
Yeah,
and I think if you want to get in this like kick, I think Borsham is getting like a little bit older. I feel like, but if you want to just go a straight kickboxing match with him, like I don't think that's going to go well for him. And I think that's why Borsham's favored. Like I thought no one was gonna. I was like licking my chops when they made this fight that I thought no one was gonna be favored and I was gonna love Borshev.
Yeah,
because I like but now that Borshev is a favorite, it makes me a little more like
Nolan,
not as bullish on him.
Nolan has no takedowns in his UFC career, so Borshev I think is just like a little bit overrated.
He's just a good technical striker.
He's so
striker.
Good, yeah.
It's just like he had a
figured him out.
Great fight with Sadikov, and I think Nazim's legit good.
Yeah.
Like his losses, he did get dropped by Chase Hooper though.
Yeah.
That was startling a little bit.
Yeah.
That was startling.
Dropped and submitted.
I think that's part of why I'm that, and like I said, him being a favorite makes me significantly less bullish than I thought I would be.
James Lontop, kind of stood in there with him. Split decision.
But even then, he couldn't get Alex Reyes out of there like Nolan. Like his wins are in the contender series, he knocked out Bogdan Grad, who we just saw fight.
Yep.
Who I think is decent. He's okay.
Bogdan Graz is honestly becoming a meme fighter.
He
gets killed and then he wins.
but he will stay in the like.
Oh yeah,
if you fight like that, you'll stay forever.
And his look
Yeah,
too, he looks
you're
like Dr. Evil.
And
Yeah.
and he's one of those guys you can tell is a super just like dedicated to the
Oh yeah, he
sport.
loves this
He's gonna-
shit.
He's gonna be in the show for a while. So good for him. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like he beat him. He beat Victor Martinez, who's like whatever. Moda, I don't even think is that good. Got slept by Moda in like a minute. And then he beat Alex Reyes by decision. Like I'll say I'm picking Borshev. I don't know if I'm gonna bet Borshev.
Yeah.
But
these are every fight feels like a fight I would just pass on a fight night so far, where I'm just, and I think I have to stay true to my responsible gambling.
Yeah.
You like the total over 1.5?
That's also
it's like a straight like a pick 'em.
That's also kind of crazy to me. It's like how is it over 1.5? I feel like they're just going to strike, and I don't think Well, I guess if Moda's putting you down, no. What is his reach advantage here?
Let me see.
I could see no. Maybe.
He's 6. Nolan's 6'3" and 7.
Borshev's probably like
73-inch reach.
Borshev 69
Yeah.
inch reach.
All right, so significant 4 good amount.
But
Yeah.
Borsev's such a good striker.
Yeah, I don't
What's
know
4
how much
inches to him.
Speaking of what's 4 inches to him, let's tell everyone about Blue Chew.
What a transition.
How about that?
One of the greatest transitions in the history.
That
of
was
Spinnin'
great.
Back.
Have
Well,
better
just a lot
sex
to
with
some
Blue
people.
Chew. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets. These erection-enhancing tablets help men achieve stronger, harder, and longer-lasting erections for sexual activities. Blue Chew is putting its money where its mouth is and offering you a month free. The process is simple. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to your door, and you can take them at any time, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The best part, it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. We can all relate to wanting to feel more confident, especially in the bedroom, and Blue Chew can help. Make life easier by getting harder, and discover your options at bluechew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try your first month of Blue Chew free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. There you go, Blue Chew. Great sponsor. And we will continue on with Jack Jenkins versus Gabriel Santos. I'm looking forward to this fight. I think this should be a good fight. Jack Jenkins plus 190, Gabriel Santos minus 230. I like Jack Jenkins a lot. I think the look is great. The Aussie vibe he's got going for him. I know the last win against Herbert Burns is like, it's against Herbert Burns, so you can't look at it and be like, whoa, great win. But I think I'm going to take a stab at him plus 190 here.
Gabriel Santos is that's like a weird fighter for me. Like, I remember he had that great fight against Leron Murphy that I thought he got totally robbed. And then I feel like he's had some like performances kind of since then. I don't know what to do with this. This is one where I almost feel like a Mincy. Like I'm like in the line. I feel like
I think there's
I feel like it's warranted.
I think there's a shot that Jenkins makes it a dog fight, and obviously we've seen him
hometown cooking, maybe.
Yeah, and then also he had that crazy split decision win over what's his name, Emmers. Remember that?
Yeah.
So Jamal Emmers, and I kind of been looking at this fight and thinking Jenkins split decision victory is very possible. I think Santos's levels above him, but again, yeah, minus 230 is a lot. I don't think I'm going to end up on Jenkins though. Maybe the over. What's the over?
Over 2.5 minus 195.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on that.
Another guy similar to Jenkins, who I kind of just blindly follow into the fire, Jake Matthews. I have followed Jake Matthews into the fire in a lot of these fights, not always successfully, but he kicks off the main card. I believe this is the main card kickoff against Francisco Prado. Jake Matthews minus 218, Prado plus 180. I think I'm on Matthews there as well. I think maybe he could be a parlay piece.
Yeah, this is another one where like I'm joking because Prado is a 155er at one point.
He's moving up.
He's moving up. He's really young too, very young. It's tough. Matthews is just so experienced, but Matthews is also another one of those guys like you just don't know what Matthews is going to show up because we've seen some like unbelievable Matthews show up. Like I'll still never forget the Matthews that showed up against Andre Fiallo looked like he was going to be like a champion.
Mhm.
And then you see the Matthews that showed up other times and you're like, like, I don't know. There's part of it that honestly feels like almost Jenkins in this back-to-back where it feels like a little dog or pass for me, but I'm like a little iffy about it. I think this one I feel a little more reserved because I think Matthews just has so much like veteran experience. He's fought like some of the best guys even at 170, and fighting a younger guy like Prado. Like, what's Prado's path to victory? I'm not sure. Just winning a striking battle, I guess.
Prado really goes for it. I kind of like him plus money, but I think the way he wins it is a finish. And Prado inside the distance is plus 330. I may look at that by KO. Matthews it seems as if he's kind of fallen in love with his hands recently. And he is a great grappler, but let's say, and if it stays on the feet, I think Prado has a real chance to finish him. But if it goes to the ground, I think Prado has a real chance to get submitted by Matthews. So that maybe I'll just end up on the under 2.5. Yeah, I think the under is live here, I think.
Also, did you guys see this picture of Strickland with the staff on his arm?
Yeah,
I didn't notice that before.
I did see that.
Looks pretty bad.
Yeah,
I mean, we saw it with Islam before the fight too. Like it's happened a lot and hasn't really caused an issue, but he's got a hole in his arm.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking though. I was kind of thinking that I think staff may just not be effective on Strickland. Like his body just rejects it.
As we move on, I'm just realizing I think I just like all of the Australian guys on this card. I just want all of the Australians to hit upsets because we've got Jimmy Crute versus Rodolfo Bellato here. Jimmy Crute plus 136, Rodolfo Bellato minus 162. I don't even know if my head is telling me that Jimmy Crute's going to win that fight, but my heart is. I'm like, yeah, I think Jimmy Crute walks.
It's just how much does he care? This man's retired at 27, right?
Yeah,
or 25. If you really are about this life, that doesn't cross your mind. I don't think. Bellato though is a guy that just like he's out of control.
Savage.
I got under 1.5 is plus 110. I think these two are gonna go.
I like
crazy.
I like under 1.5, and I like taking a shot at Crute too. I just don't think Bellato's very good.
Yeah, I agree with.
I also think he's definitely like very hittable.
Yeah,
like
so hittable.
I just think if Crute like really cares, he goes and like just murders him. If he's like,
yeah,
I think if we get a full like 100% locked in Jimmy Crute, he like does Bellato dirty. But it just is. But like Jack said, I think you're right. Like, is he? How much
is he all about
he
it?
care? Like, how much does he care? He is giving the illusion right now like he cares. His coach, they're talking like he cares, but it's like every coach says, "Oh, he's in the best shape he's ever been in." Like that's every fighter's every fight. You know what I mean? You can take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, the under 1.5 I really like, and I think I'm going to take a shot at Crute at plus money.
And I think I'm doing the same exact thing in the next fight: Justin Tafa versus Talison Teixeira. Talison Teixeira undefeated, 7-0. He's minus 135. Justin Tafa plus 114. I'm like, I don't know, the more experience there.
I think
heavyweights.
I think I'm gonna lay the juice on the under. I don't know if this gets 2 minutes.
Under 1.5.
Teixeira only first round finishes.
And Tafa
Teixeira's never been in the second round.
That's crazy.
Under 1.5 minus 180. It just almost feels
like,
are they suckering me in? Are they begging me to take this? Both of them are going to go in there. I guess there's a chance they just look at each other, but I don't know, man. Tafa doesn't do that.
And he can't in this fight. Like if he stays on the outside, he's going to get picked apart.
And also, I think these heavyweights, Tafa's going to look at look, Jairzinho Rozenstruik got cut for just kind of staying on this outside, not getting hit. I think these guys are kind of, there's a little bit of there's not a memo sent UFC-wide, but there's a little bit of a, come on, you're a heavyweight. You should fight, bro.
You're there to kill her.
Yeah, and it's like this is why you get paid. And I know that's.
I mean, them cutting Rozenstruik is that like memo. I feel like
100%. And I think they kind of, and that's a guy he's never caused any issues with the UFC.
Yeah, as far as we know, yeah.
And I think
there's a clear top 10 heavyweight.
And also both of Teixeira's striking defense is like both these guys just go in there with their head out.
No, I said in his contender series fight, he fought a guy who was so much smaller than him, a guy that legitimately was a light heavyweight. Yes, and he like landed good shots early. it's just one of those. He is such a bigger human than the guy he fought that he made it like impossible to basically beat this guy. And he eventually just was on the end of a bad shot and got knocked out. But this guy was so tiny, he was fighting way above his weight class and gave him like a run for a few minutes there. He's very hittable. Like Tafa knocking him out would not shock me one bit.
Me neither. Then we've got two good fights for the co-main and the main event. These are the fights that you could actually look forward to and be excited about. Weili Zhang versus Tatiana Suarez. Weili Zhang plus 100. Tatiana Suarez minus 120. I've been kind of going back and forth on this one all week. I don't really know how to feel about this one. Getting Weili Zhang plus 100 is very tempting. Tatiana Suarez, on the other hand, like Sean Strickland said, if she was a man, you'd need a gun to shoot her. That is his actual quote on her. Suarez is kind of a monster. I don't know. I'm leaning Suarez, but the Zhang plus money's tempting.
Yeah, I right now it's Weili, I think, is like where I think I just trust her more. If that, like, makes sense. just so much more experience. Better. I just wonder if my only fear is that we watch Rose Namajunas just like take Weili down and hold her down. So if she can do that, I know Tatiana Suarez can do it. Granted, that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
So like take it for what you will. But it almost feels like the plus 100 on Weili is almost too easy.
Yeah.
And it's because the whole world's going to be like, Weili plus money. Like, how can this be? And then Tatiana Suarez comes in and just like fucks her for 5 rounds and wins the belt.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of gone away at this point. But I think this is ending inside the distance. It's minus 160 now. I think it goes one of two ways. Tatiana really gets the wrestling going and she finds a submission or just like ground and pound. And I think that's a real possibility because of the fact that Weili really uses her physical just gifts to her advantage. We've seen this in multiple fights time and time again. And she's not going to out physical Tatiana. Tatiana's just, she's an American wrestling beast. But if Tatiana can't get those going, she's just going to get killed on the feet. And Weili can finish you on the feet. We've seen that. I really think this is going to end inside the distance. I wish I got on Tatiana earlier. This line's flipped. I don't blame anybody taking Weili. I think I'm just going to focus in on an under 4.5 or fight doesn't go the distance, minus 160. I do think, or at that, yeah.
This under's 3.5.
I know. So
fight weird.
Under 3.5 plus money. Fight doesn't go the distance is minus 160. So you're paying 65 cents of juice. But I think this ends inside the distance 65% of the time. So it's like it's still value.
Yeah. And then the main event, the rematch between Dricus du Plessis and Sean Strickland. Dricus is minus 205. Sean Strickland plus 170. I don't know what to do about this either because, as we talked about, the first fight was pretty close. That headbutt did play a factor for sure.
I thought Sean won it, but
I did too.
Is Sean Strickland plus 170 like an easy bet in that case?
Yeah,
I think so. It's tough because I just feel like, again, like it just feels like if we get
I think I had Sean winning the fight too.
Sean, just the way he fights, it just feels like when he's in close fights, the judges just don't give it to him. Cannonier was similar. Like, I don't know. There's something I feel like that happening again scares me, but I just feel like Strickland, like you saw how close the first fight was. It just feels like plus 170 is a crazy price.
And let me throw this out there. Dricus fights Sean. And then what has he done since to put him at minus 200? Beats Izzy. We just saw Izzy get flatlined by Imavov. How good is Izzy?
And lose to Strickland, obviously.
And lose to Strickland. And so how good is Izzy? Now, we know Izzy historical great, don't get me wrong, but how good is that win? If Izzy went in there and just styled on Imavov, I think Dricus win would have looked a lot better. But there were some points in Dricus's fight that against Izzy that he was not looking great. And the way Dricus won that was because Dricus hurt Izzy and then he got on the back, submitted him. If there's a guy in the UFC that is really hard to hurt, is specifically at this point in his career, it's Sean Strickland.
Yeah.
Unless you're Poton. And I
And then
don't
you
see
can
now.
flip
There's a
anyone.
chance.
Poton's in his corner for this too. We
Yeah.
talked about that with him in the interview. Funny moment.
Maybe some black magic.
Yeah, we were like, I think you said, well, like, what does he say to you in the corner? You know, and he was like, yeah, he doesn't speak English, so he says Shama.
Yeah, he's like, he just looks at me all angry. I'm like, chill out, Poton. You're not fighting. I'm fighting.
Yeah.
I just think this line's out of control. Now, if there's one thing that I am a little bit concerned about is Dricus really hitting to the body, because Sean's so up here and he's really good at avoiding those leg kicks.
True.
But if Dricus comes and really exposes him down low, it's possible. But I think this is going to a decision, and you want a plus 170 ticket. And also, Sean's so good at getting taken down and getting right back up.
Yeah.
And we know those takedowns don't really mean anything, specifically, obviously, in the scoring aspect. It may flip around, but not really, because he can't be held down there. And he's so good at not getting submitted. So even if he loses a round, I'm not concerned about him being submitted. I may eat my words, but Dricus is a guy that plus 170 is just, I think it's too easy.
Yeah. Weirdly, I like so many underdogs in the main event. Like, other than Matthews, I feel like I want to bet on every other dog.
Yeah.
Jimmy Crute, Justin Taffa, Wiley Zhang, and Sean Strickland. Like, give me those four.
A really weird card.
It is a weird card, yeah. Super Bowl Eve, I guess.
Yeah. Let's say we'll go live if something crazy happens.
Yeah, yeah. We'll be the judge of whether or not this is worthy of like an immediate. We need to.
Yeah, like if Trick is kind
I
of.
feel like everyone will get the same vibe.
You'll
know.
Now, with Strickland, you never know. Like something crazy could happen.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm really excited for Sean.
I can see them announcing.
Excited.
You know, they'll announce.
That's a good point.
Some big fights. We'll see.
I can see them announce maybe like Miami pay-per-views.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That'd be cool.
As Chandler tweeted like the little palm tree emoji today.
Yeah,
and
they're saying
Armin.
They're saying Chandler Armin. That would be like Chandler just getting every #1 contender fight is so funny.
Yeah.
Like 4 losses in a row is so funny.
Frivola said, "Man, Chandler must oil up Dana really." Like that was a good tweet, Frivola.
All right, that was the Spinnin Backfist show. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll talk to you when we talk to you.